The worship here is really unique. We use the Episcopal liturgy because we're an Episcopal church, and so just like any other liturgical church you would go into, the liturgy's the same, and we go through all the same forms or whatever, but our congregation often responds a little differently than other congregations. If an acolyte does a particularly good job, the congregation will just applaud the acolyte. Or when we're reading the lessons or the gospel lesson, they respond to it just as if they were, you were talking to them, and they'll talk back during the gospel lesson, yes, 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 And at the end of the gospel lesson, if they are really touched by it, the whole congregation will just break out in spontaneous applause right at the gospel.
The people that come to Grace Mission are very diverse, actually, but they all have a common need, I would guess. They have been marginalized by society. Things happen in their lives. Sometimes it's divorce. Sometimes it's a death. Many times they get hooked on alcohol or drugs of some sort, and their lives just take a spiral downward. And usually they lose their jobs, they lose their homes, they lose all their money, they lose their families.
The practice of the very early church had already begun to erode. In other words, this Christian life was not so easy to live, people found, so they kept trying.
I've been coming to Grace Mission about 5 years, and it's hard to explain, but I think a lot of people have holes in their lives. I had holes in my life, and I still do, but there are things that can come along, and Grace Mission is that thing for me. That's given me something to hold on to. It's an island of stability, island of calm. We have spiritual needs, whether we recognize it or not. But one of the things that I think Christ understood, I know he did, was that people have physical needs too. A need to eat, to be housed, to be clothed, to be clean. The Grace Mission gives you a chance to see that in action.
This is a very important part of Grace Mission, the sweet tea. I started coming to Grace Mission in 2000, and I had a terrible disease called alcoholism, and I sunk deeper and deeper and deeper into that. I used to sleep in abandoned buildings. I used to sleep underneath mobile homes when it was raining. The hiding from the police and their police dogs, in and out of jail. Everything revolved around the next drink. I had no pride, and I was so angry. And I used to pray, Lord, please don't let me die in this confusion. I see now that he honored that prayer. And now my life is so full.